Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Today we will discuss mantra number 10 of Kathopanishad, Prathama Adhyay, Tritiya Valli. Indriyebhyah parahyartha अर्थेभ्यश्च परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः बुद्धिरात्मा महान् परः. इंद्रियेभ्यः हि अर्थाः पराः. अर्थेभ्यश्च मनः परः और परम. मनसः तु बुद्धिः परा, बुद्धेः महान् आत्मा परः. So it is a sequence of subtlety. Clear? Indriyebhyah, then all our 5 sense organs and 5 organs of actions. Eyes, ear, nose, tongue and skin. That is 5 sense organs. And then speech, hand, leg, genital and anus. They are organs of action. So we are having 10 indriya. 10 organs we are having, sense organs. Organs of knowledge and organ of action. Then 10 organs, indeed, he means indeed, arthaha paraha. Arthaha means the 5 Pancha Mahabhuta, basic elements of the whole universe. We see millions of billions of trillions of things. Clear? But whatever we see, they are segregated in 5 things. What is? This is sound, either sound or touch or form or taste or smell. Apart from 5 things, nothing else is there. There may be a, a lot of variety in the things, but either that variety should be the sound oriented or form oriented or smell oriented or taste oriented or smell oriented. So according to the scripture, then the indriyas, senses, the object of senses are subtle. subtler. And this is subtler, this is pervasive than the Indriyas. That is why they are Shrestha. Arthebhyaha cha, from the objects, manaha param. Who understands, who perceive the uh, object, it is more subtle. Clear? So there is a sequence of subtlety. Then manasaha tu buddhihi paraha. Then mind, intellect. Intellect means अंतःकरण में हमारा जो निश्चयात्मिका फैकल्टी है, वृत्ति, in our inner instrument, inner self, the decisive faculty, decision making faculty is much more subtler than the mind. Mind means sankalpaha and vikalpaha. Always there is a dilemma. Should I do it? Or no, no, no. I think it is not to be done. That is the function of mind. And intellect is steadfastness. It takes the decision. That is highest. Buddhehe mahan atma paraha. So, buddhehe means here individual intellect. Clear? Every individual has their own individual mind, own individual intellect. So then one individual intellect, Mahan Atma. Here Mahan Atma is not the Atma we discuss about. Clear? Here Mahan Atma means Samashti intellect, total intellect, means Hiranyagarbha. Clear? But it is also unspoken, abhyakta. And not only that, it is born from unspoken nature, prakriti. Clear? हिरण्यगर्भ का उत्पन्न क्या हो, उत्पत्ति कैसे हुआ? माया से पहला जो उत्पन्न संतान है उसका नाम है हिरण्यगर्भ, महत्तत्व. Clear? And it is subtler than any subtle thing. Means what we discussed. That is why it is Shrestha. So, Indriyas or sense organs are the grossest thing. So, from the gross, how we can go to the subtle, here that procedure has been told. Indriyabhyaha para artha. Then Indriya Vishayas are Shrestha. Paraha Shrestha. Then sense organs. The object of sense organs are Sukshma. Para Shabda, the word para, is used in many meaning. Utkrishta, the best, the subtle, the cause. In many ways, that word has been used. So the thing is that para shabda has been used in many ways. So now it has been told the object of sense organs are subtler than the sense organs. Sometimes it may create some delusion that we know that sense organs are subtler and objects are gross. इंद्रिय सूक्ष्म होता है, लेकिन जो विषय को हम लोग देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, सूंघते हैं, साथ लेते हैं, दे आर स्थूल. Here, the vishayas, the object has been spoken by Upanishad, that is not gross. It is talking about the element, Sukshma Bhuta. Clear? It is not gross element. Behind the gross element, there is subtle element. And that subtle element से ही इंद्रिय बना है. Our indriyas are made with the subtle element. Because eyes may be gross, but it is inert. But the capacity of seeing of eyes is subtle. Clear? The capacity of tongue of having taste is subtle. Clear? So, uh, what are they? What are they? You go back to Tattva Bodha. Kshiti Ap Tej Marut Vyom means Kshiti means Akas, the space. Up means water. Tej means fire. Marut means air. Uh, Bom means Akash. So, Kshiti means Prithvi, the earth. Earth, water, fire, air, space. Means this is the chrome, the sequence from gross to subtle. Because Akashad Vayor Agnihi, from the space, air has come. From the air, fire has come. From the fire, water has come. From the water, our earth has come. So, they are the sequence. It is not the sequence of space, air, water. Okay. This is the sequence of how from subtle that grossest thing has come out. Clear? So here, indriyebhya para arthaha, here arthaha means not the grossest thing, but behind the grossest thing, the moola, the adi, sukshma bhuta, the subtle element has been taught. Clear? has been told. Arthabhyasya paraha param manaha means from that subtle element, the subtler is our mind. Manasastu para buddhi. Then mind, intellect is subtle. Buddhehe atma mahan paraha. Then the intellect, the Hiranyagarbha, the Mahat Tattva, the total mind or intellect is much more subtle. Here, why Upanishad has coined the same Atma word for Hiranyagarbha? That may be questioned because Atma we know is something different. We are studying since last so many months what is Atma, what is Atma, what is Atma. This is beyond speech, beyond everything else. Now, why Upanishad has coined this word to make us understand about the Mahatattva? So, the answer is Atma means pervasiveness. One of the meaning of Atma is pervasiveness. So, how the subtle thing pervades the gross thing to make us understand that Atma word has coined has been coined by the Upanishad. Clear? Because our buddhi is pervaded in mind. Mind is pervaded in sense organs. So it means their buddhi is also there. Clear? But it is so quick and fast we can understand. But is as if it looks same because of the pervasiveness of the subtle thing. Like ice cube, you think in a gross way. Ice cube has a form, shape, everything else. Then ice cube, water is pervasive. Now you heat it. So then water, vapor is pervasive. So vapor is already there in the water and water is already there in the ice cube. In that sense of pervasiveness, that Atma word has been coined. Clear? Now, it is in Shastriya language, they are called Gauna Atma. Clear? Because of its pervasiveness. So बुद्धि से महत तत्व सूक्ष्म है because of our individual intellect, it has a cause. How that intellect has come and how it has come now from Mahat Tattva, the total mind, the total intellect. Clear? Understood? Beyond the senses are the sense objects. Beyond these objects is the mind. Beyond the mind is the intellect. And beyond the intellect is the great self. Clear? According to Gurudev. So this and the following mantra together provide the sadhaka, the spiritual aspirant, with a line of thinking which he could pursue during his deep meditations upon the immortal and the eternal essence, which is the core of his existence. Earlier, we had already explained that in the language of our philosophical textbooks, beyond or within. And they indicate the comparative subtleties between the two or more factors. So, subtleties in such cases being measured by the greater pervasiveness of one factor over the other. Clear? Like how I can understand, make you understand. Like space. The first come out product is space. Clear? So from space, air has come. So space is pervaded in air. From air, fire has come. So in the fire, space is there, air is there, and fire is there. So from fire, the water has come. So in the water, space, air, then what? Fire is already there in the water. And in the earth, all other four are present, but they are in a very subtle way, they are pervasive. Clear? So, in that sense, those have been coined. The Shruti Mata, the Upanishad here starts with the grossest manifestation of truth and slowly guiding the student through degrees of greater and the greater subtleties, ultimately introduces him into the very realm of subtlest of the subtle, the Atma that resides in the holy of the bodies in us. So this mantra is clearly echoed in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, in Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 42nd sloka is there. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi. So, then buddhehe paratastu saha. It's there in Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 42nd sloka. So, the meaning of the various portions of this mantra, though clear in themselves, present some obvious difficulties in understanding the opening statement that the sense objects are subtler than the sense organs themselves. Modern science explains to us that there is no mechanism conceived of by man in his laboratories which is as subtle as the sure dictaphone provided in our ears or the ready camera adjustments of our eyes, or for that matter, the sensitive equipment in our organs of touch or taste. None of the above has ever been beaten even by the best of the discoveries of man. Even during this era of science, yet the Upanishad dares to declare that subtler than the sense organs are the sense objects. It is natural then that the student reading and pondering over this mantra should come to wonder how the forms are greater than the eyes, or the sounds greater than the ears, or the tastes greater than the organ of taste. So, this portion of the mantra is explained by teacher to their disciples in the Himalayan valleys very clearly. For example, this very Swami found it difficult to gulp this statement down and had to approach his master for extra explanations. So, doubts in philosophy have a knack of exhausting the student at their very first appearance, and when the explanations come from a true master, all of a sudden the student finds himself wondering how the doubts ever arose at all in him when their explanations were so simple and obvious. So, were it not for the different forms available in the world outside, we would not have been able to feel or assert that we have eyes. If the world were to be steeped in silence, all would have been deaf, for in such a condition, the sense organ, ear, has no justification for or proof of its very existence. So, in this sense, the sense objects are the very cause for the sense organs. It may be more clear if we take a modern example from our own political life. The President of Indian Republic, or for that matter, the very Parliament itself, would not have any existence if the Indian people were not there. The people of a country is the cause for the state and for the government of the country. Certainly, the total might and power of the state is not to be found in any of the individual Indian. Yet the people of the country is the cause for the state in that country. In this sense, the sense objects are the causes for the sense organs. Since cause is always subtler than its effects, the Upanishad is fully justified in explaining to us that beyond the sense organs lie the fields of sense objects such as form, sound, taste, smell, and touch. Now, beyond the object is the mind. The significance is self evident. Mind is certainly much more subtler than the causes of sense organs. But for the mind, the sense impulses reported by the sense organs as they come in contact with the sense objects would not have been registered and synchronized together to give us the total impression of the objects as the table, the chair, and so on. So, beyond the mind is the intellect. There was a statement in the mantra. So, in our early discussions of the fundamental principles of Vedanta, we had discussed the scope and structure of the human mind when we said that the mind is the receiving and dispatching clerk in the inner secretariat. The mind receives impulses sent by the five sense organs and synthesizes them into one consolidated report and passes it up to the intellect. The decisiveness of the intellect is that which finally disposes of the file. There, the impulses received are checked up with the previous experiences of similar impulses, which are stored away in the memory and with reference to and in terms of the past experiences, the present impulses are revaluated and correctly classified. The intellect thereupon passes down its judgment, which in its turn is for the necessary execution of orders pushed back by the mind to the five sense organs, who implicitly act as they are required in the outer fields of the sense objects. Here, the scheme of the inner government is so elaborately discussed only to show the greater importance the intellect has over the mind. So the scripture is perfectly justified in making her statement that the intellect is subtler than the mind. Now, there was a statement that beyond the intellect is the great self. So, naturally, so the great self is what we have so far discussed in our earlier lectures as the total mind or the total intellect, the Hiranyagarbha. So, in our false sense of egoism and delusion, created sense of separateness, we presume generally that we think our own thoughts totally independent of the thoughts of others. We also presume that our thoughts are exclusively our own and nobody need worry about the texture or the quality of our individual secret thoughts. This is an absurd and false statement worthy to be blabbered only by a thoughtless, uneducated barbarian. Nobody can think even a single thought in absolute independence and freedom from the whole. Let us take an example. and try to understand it. Suppose Mr. Das, returning from his office, takes his tiffin and lying on an easy chair in his pajamas, comes to entertain an idea that he must go to the picture. He soon comes to feel that he has a wish to see the picture and that it is his wish. Now, friends, do you accept that this clerk, after his day's work, resting in his veranda balcony, is the sole author of this idea? Is he not a product of the thoughts and values of his age? Means his great grandfather would never have thought of such an idea since there was no cinema in his time. So, is he not a product of the thoughts and values of this age, a slave to the conscious and the unconscious influences that he has been receiving in the society during the week, and a victim of the silent murmurings of the innumerable advertisements that he must have seen, and the thousands of congratulatory statements heard from his friend who applauded this particular picture. And however intelligent he may be, he would yet shamelessly declare that go to the picture was his own independent individual idea which came to him that evening. In fact, none of us can independently feel or think. We, each of us, live every moment of our life influenced by others. And if we be true in our convictions and noble in our values of life, we shall be to that degree influencing the total. So, the total intellect is the concept of God principle. Here, the intellect stands for the entire inner instrument, antakaran. It must certainly be obvious to us now that the total intellect is certainly subtler than the individual intellect. Clear? Thank you so much.